and they don't have this money yet. They want to give the impression to all of the world that they are negotiating with the Egyptians. There is no problem with the Egyptians, so that they can get more finance from or aids from other maybe international banks or other sources outside of Ethiopia. But until now, we need to wait and see what's going to come from these negotiations. It's very important, and I think the negotiations is a sign of the meeting between President Sisi and the Prime Minister, the Ethiopian Prime Minister, that was held actually in the African Summit, the one that was held in Malabo. And it's this a very good actually sign of that Ethiopians now with Egypt, with a new president and a new administration, maybe Ethiopia is reconsidering its position, and maybe they are going to actually go to a real negotiation, a serious negotiation. We are waiting to see if this negotiation reach an agreement. This and other, of course, coming round-up negotiations going to reach an agreement. I don't think that a visit from President Sisi to Ethiopia will be a way. I think it will be on the table.
Okay, and still with Al-Ahram online, where we read Missouri deploys National Guard to violence to act. Ferguson, Missouri's governor on Monday ordered National Guard troops to help restore order in Ferguson, hours after police hurled tear gas to disperse violent protesters in the town racked by race riots. Ferguson has endured days of violence since a white police officer on the 9th of August shot dead Michael Brown, an unarmed black 18-year-old. The National Guard soldiers will respond to the Unified Police Command in Ferguson. So do you expect more violence in the coming days, and how do you evaluate the way police dealt with protesters in the United States?
Yes, I expect more violence. I expect more problems. This is not the first incident, actually, concerning killing a youth black American guy, and then problems come out. It seems that there is a big problem here concerning the youth black Americans. They are so angry with the situation they are living in. Although President Obama has been elected twice, they think they are not full of their own rights, completely rights. They are not in the same shoes as the whites, so that's why there are problems. And there will be more problems concerning this if they don't solve, and it's not easy to solve the problems there. But the sign here, which is sarcastic, that the United States is suffering now from this problem that all of the Middle East have been suffering from. It's like Tunisia. What happens in Tunisia is he was not black, but he was a poor, I think, merchandise who was maybe dealt in a violent way. He wasn't killed, actually. He committed suicide after that because he was insulted, and then problems erupted. And again, in other places, also the same sign. But here we have this problem in the United States. The United States is not a small country, it's a big country. So they are facing problems like this every now and then. How do they actually react to these problems is the solution. Usually they react in a very brutal way. And all of the time they are complaining and criticizing other countries about this. But they are reacting in a very brutal and actually security-wise very harsh on the people. So it causes more problems.
Okay, starting again with the second segment on economic news. Start off with Al Masri Al-Yawm. Egypt stocks lose £3 billion. Main index retreats 1.35%. Egypt's stocks slumped during Monday's session as investors sought profits and foreigners became net sellers following 21 consecutive sessions of being net buyers. The benchmark index, EGX 30, dropped a significant 1.35% to record 9,316 points. Non-Arab foreign investors were net sellers for the first time in the past few months to the tune of £9.6 million, while both Egyptians and Arab investors were net buyers. Daily stock turnover registered £810.9 million. The broader index, EGX 70, fell 0.93%. Okay, how do you see the performance of the stock market, and to what extent the new project in the Suez Canal will affect it in the coming period?
Of course, it is affected positively. The stock market have fallen a bit 2 weeks ago, and then they come raising again, increasing. And I think this is good, a good sign of the after the Suez Canal project have been declared. And I think this is a good sign that we are going in a good track. But usually, I don't like to actually think about the stock market as a sign of if the economy is going okay or not, because sometimes the stock market just increases and the economy is not going in a good shape, but still it's a good sign.
Okay. And back to Al Ahram newspaper, where we read, no limit on new Suez Canal certificates. Egypt's Finance Minister Hani Qadri said in a statement on Monday that there will be no limit on the amount of investment certificates individuals and corporations can buy in the new Suez Canal development project. Earlier this month, President Fattah al-Sisi launched a mega project to build a 72 kilometers long parallel artificial waterway alongside the Suez Canal in the coming year at a projected cost of $4 billion. The project will be financed through investment certificates issued to Egyptians only in local currency for citizens working inside the country, and possibly in dollars and euros for those residing abroad. Interest on the investment certificates will be paid by the Canal Authority from its revenues, which are expected to increase from $5.5 billion this year to $13 billion over the next 4 years. So to what extent these certificates will benefit Egyptians?
Of course, it's going to affect the economy. Very important. And I think they have changed it from being a share in the stock to investment certificates. And this is very important also, I think, because people were asking why changing, but I think this is very wise, security-wise, concerning if foreigners can buy those stock papers or certificates, then we are in a problem in the coming years. But now with these investments certificates, there is no problem in it, I guess. So it's very important.
And back to Al Ahram online, where we read Cairo Opera House to hold concerts for Egypt's economy, new Suez Canal, and the new Suez Canal project. Gaber Asfour, Egypt's culture minister, has approved a decision by the board of the Cairo Opera House to host a monthly concert to benefit the Long Live Egypt Fund, a bank account established to help the country out of its current economic crisis. Cairo Opera House chairperson Ines Abdeldaim said she hopes that the Egyptian and Arab artists who will perform at the concerts will donate their fees to the fund. Abdeldaim said that Cairo Opera House will host regular concerts at the construction site by the canal to motivate the workers to finish the project in the 1-year time frame that El-Sisi set. How do you see this movement by Cairo Opera House officials?
Well, of course, culture is very important. In any high projects or first degree project as a priority like this project, we need, of course, culture to go along with it. We need singers, we need actors to have some acts, and we need them to have some songs as it used to be in the 60s and in the 50s. In Egypt, very important, and sometimes in the 80s too. So we have maybe forgotten this, but it's very important to come back to culture, because culture is very important in convincing people.
And wrapping up our press, and we read in Al Ahram online, Egypt's top steel manufacturer Rise Steel announced a consolidated loss of £19 million in the first quarter of 2014, compared to a net profit of £202 million in the same period of the previous year, according to a statement the company released on Monday. Net sales declined 5% to £5.3 billion, which the statement attributed to a fall in exports. So let's focus on the fall in exports. How can Egypt manage to increase its exports in the coming period and decrease its dependence on imports?
Of course, there is some actually things that you can't just depend on imports. No, you have to get it from outside. But Egypt have been actually losing time concerning exporting things. We have to look very actually honestly about what are we exporting actually to the other countries. Ceramic, some small minor things. We don't have a real investments in actually things that like steel, like other things that we used to have to exports. Of course, we have some others manufacturers that are trying. One of them was as the steel actually, and others. We had in the 60s high projects in Hilwan. We had other projects like this. This is very important. Countries, small countries even like Iran and other countries have standed on their foot depending on those manufacturers. So we need, I think, to have another look on this.
Okay, Mrs. Suzy Genedy, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of Al-Ahram Al-Arabi magazine, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, and have a good morning, please.
Thank you, Ms. Suzy. And now we'll go for a short break, and then we'll resume the breakfast show. So stay tuned.